of orderly conduct. If disorderly or disruptive conduct continues after a warning, and this is that first warning, the mayor may direct the removal of persons from the chambers or recess the meeting itself. If disruptive behavior makes it necessary to clear the chambers, the person who disrupted the meeting will not be allowed to return to the chambers for the remainder of tonight's meeting. And as a final note, just be aware that interfering with or preventing the lawful public meeting from being carried out in an orderly manner not only violates the rules of participation, but also violates Title 13 of the Arizona Revised Statutes.
Thank you, Mr. Rankin. Item 2,
Invocation, Pledge of Allegiance, and appointments to boards, committees, and commissions.
the invocation will be given by Carla Inclán, City Clerk staff, and after the invocation, I ask that you remain standing for the Pledge of Allegiance.
Madam Mayor, Council, good evening, everyone. Please bless this meeting as we gather today, healthy and open-minded. We ask for guidance from the Mayor and Council as they make decisions that will affect the lives of all Tucsonans. Please help make these decisions without bias and prejudice. And remember to do what's best for the entire community. We know this is not an easy task, but we ask for guidance in which will benefit the most. Thank you. Amen. Allegiance to the flag
I pledge allegiance
of the States of America, and which the republic for which it stands,
Item 2C.
Presentations.
Alrighty, we have 3 proclamations today, the beautiful proclamations necessary and important for our community. Our first one is Domestic Violence Awareness Month. Our second one is Luis Carlos Bernal Day. And then the third one is Arizona Serve Day for the elimination of poverty. I invite my colleagues on the council if you'd like to join us up there. For the first one, we have representatives from the community, Anna Harper from Emerge Center Against Domestic Abuse, Karina Valle, Elsa Salca, Josue Romero, Caitlin Monge from the Southern Arizona Center Against Sexual Assault, Larry Starks, Tucson Juneteenth Festival Committee, Lance Meeks with Goodwill Industries of Southern Arizona, Angela Turner with Goodwill Industries of Southern Arizona, and Isaac Villegas Durgan, the City of Tucson Community Safety, Health and Wellness. Let's meet each other up there and then have the ceremony. Thank you so much for joining us up there. And first and most importantly, thank you for the incredible work that you're all doing. And I know that many others do this work with you, but we appreciate everything that you do for families, women and children in this community. So on behalf of the City of Tucson and the Office of the Mayor, I would like to proclaim the month of October 2024 to be Domestic Violence Awareness Month. Whereas domestic violence occurs in epidemic proportions across the United States, affecting more than 6 million people each year. Whereas in 2023, the Tucson Police Department and the Pima County Sheriff's Department received 15,733 domestic violence calls and documented 7,536 incidents. And whereas domestic abuse causes untold trauma to children and adults in our community and harms families physically, emotionally, and economically. And whereas October is Domestic Violence Awareness Month across the United States, as signified by the wearing purple to remind people that we must halt this dangerous and deadly epidemic. Whereas Emerge Center Against Domestic Abuse and the City of Tucson, Tucson Police Department, Community Safety, Health, and Wellness, and other partners are committed to a comprehensive response to end domestic violence in our community. Now, therefore, I, Regina Romero, Mayor of the City of Tucson, Arizona, do hereby proclaim the month of October 2024 to be Domestic Violence Awareness Month, and in honor of the Paint Purple campaign, I encourage our community to wear purple clothing or a purple ribbon to stand in solidarity with domestic abuse victims and support the end of the epidemic of domestic violence. In witness whereof, I have hereunto set my hand and caused the seal of the City of Tucson, Arizona to be affixed this 8th day of October 2024. Thank you all for everything that you do. Would someone like to say something?
Yes, ma'am. Mayor Romero, city council members, city staff, on behalf of Emerge and the 5,500 folks that we serve every year who are experiencing domestic violence, we want to thank you for the city's continued support in addressing this issue. Domestic Violence Awareness Month is a bittersweet milestone for us. On one hand, it is the opportunity to shine a bright light on the tremendous work that is happening in our community to both respond to and prevent domestic violence. It's a chance to not only raise awareness, but to ask for the community's active help in addressing the underlying issues that breed domestic violence. But Domestic Violence Awareness Month is also a time for us to reckon with the devastating toll that this issue has on so many families in our community, the lives forever impacted and the lives lost. It's a reminder that for yet another year, we have to have a Domestic Violence Awareness Month, and that with all the work being done in the community, domestic violence continues to rage, and we have much work left to do. The true test of our community's resolve to end domestic violence will actually come in the months ahead, with October just being a moment in time, and that domestic violence victims are at risk and suffering all year long. And yet Domestic Violence Awareness Month is a really important opportunity to engage the community for the work ahead. This year, we're very excited to announce a new event to spark collective efforts to address violence of all kinds and create safety for all. So on Saturday, October 19th, we will be hosting the inaugural awareness walk called Footsteps for Healing, Building Community Safety Together. We invite the community to join us from 7 to 11 a.m. on the 19th at Silver Lake Park. This event is not just a walk. It's really about a powerful statement of unity, resilience, and commitment to supporting survivors and their families. Because domestic violence, sexual assault, gun violence, homophobia, transphobia, violence against indigenous communities, and other forms of violence are deeply interconnected, creating a complex web of harm that affects many individuals and entire communities. And as we move together, we honor all those affected and highlight the importance of a comprehensive community response to violence. Footsteps for Healing is about fostering deeper relationships within the community and creating an environment where safety and healing can thrive. When we come together to center the survivors and their experiences, we can better understand the collective impact of violence and work toward community-driven solutions. We are very proud to host this event in partnership with Goodwill of Southern Arizona, Tucson Juneteenth Festival, Indivisible Tohono, Southern Arizona Center Against Sexual Assault, and the city's Community Safety, Wellness, and Health and Wellness Program. And we hope our community will join us in this journey of hope and healing, because each person's presence is a move towards a safer, more connected community where every person can feel supported and valued. More information about the event can be found at emergecenter.org. And again, we just want to thank Mayor Romero, the council, and all the amazing city staff members who work all year long to make sure that the needs of victims are met and to make sure that we are preventing more victims from being created. And with that, I will turn it over to Larry Starks from Tucson Juneteenth.
Mayor and Council, thank you for this proclamation. We appreciate it. And I know a lot of people hear Juneteenth and they think June, that's when the last slaves were freed. And why are you here, Larry? Because of domestic violence. If you think about it, for many years, domestic violence was and is slavery. It was and is human trafficking. It was and is women being raped and pillaged. So that's why we're here understanding that about the community, what Juneteenth brings is not just once a year. Our motto is it's a movement, not a moment. So a moment in time we take all year to understand that community happens all the time. Everybody wants to be free, freedom. Domestic violence is about people being held captive a lot of times by their abusers. So as we celebrate Juneteenth year long, we're happy to celebrate along with Emerge, Goodwill, and a lot of different partners all year so that we can reach all facets of the community, not just for 1 month, but 365 days a year. So people understand what community means and what it means to be free. And with that, I'll hand it over to Caitlin.
Mayor and Council, thank you so very much for your support with this event. It's always such an honor to work with such dedicated partners who are truly rooted in this community and are so committed to serving survivors of violence. And it's events like Footsteps for Healing that really instill a sense of hope that there can be a future without violence. And truthfully, that's the end game here. We would love to be out of the job. So really, we recognize that that future is not attainable without engagement from our community members. So we're thrilled to be able to host this event to allow opportunities for all community members, regardless of what their personal connection to this issue is, to stand in solidarity with survivors and to maybe learn something new and take that into the community and help facilitate meaningful change. So we're really grateful for this event and hope to see all of our community members there showing support as well. Thank you so much.
Mayor and Council, on behalf of Goodwill Southern Arizona, we stand with our community partners. We are invested in helping community, the folks in our programs, the employees that work in our stores to understand the impact of domestic violence. Through our partnership of working together, we have a Black Men's Healing Space. We have a call to action where we're bringing Black and brown men together within this community to help to understand the root causes of violence and to restore healing in this community. So we appreciate the opportunity to work alongside everyone in our community. Thank you.
Alrighty, let's give them a hand for the incredible work that they do for all of us. Our next proclamation is for Luis Carlos Bernal Day, and we've invited Katrina Ann Bernal, daughter of Luis Carlos Bernal. If, as I call your name, please join us up here. Cassandra Cota, granddaughter of Luis Carlos Bernal. Dr. Jacqueline Jean Barrios, assistant professor, public and applied humanities at the University of Arizona. Dr. Rebecca Senf, chief curator, Center for Creative Photography. Gia Del Pina, marketing specialist at the Center for Creative Photography. Lizzie Guevara, photographic education fellow at the Center for Creative Photography. Chad Herzog, associate vice president, Arizona Arts, executive artistic director, Arizona Arts Live at the University of Arizona. And Simmons Myers and Ernesto Esquer. If any of you want to squishing over here so we could have a little bit of balance and make sure that everyone's close. So, how are you? Alrighty. And if you'd like to hold this, do me the honors of holding this. Would you like to? Yeah. All right. So on behalf of the city of Tucson and the office of the mayor, I'm honored to proclaim October 12th, 2024 to be Luis Carlos Bernal Day in this community. Whereas Luis Carlos Bernal, 1941 to 1993, was born in the border town of Douglas, Arizona. He was raised in Phoenix and graduated from Arizona State University. He joined the faculty of Pima Community College in Tucson to start and lead a photography program. And whereas in the early 70s, amid the Chicano civil rights movement, the movement fostered a newfound pride in its heritage, Chicanoism or Chicanismo. He developed an approach to representing the people and essence of his community. And whereas in 1972, Bernal established the photography department at Pima Community College and served as the department head for 18 years until his untimely death in 1993. Bernal's commitment to his craft and his students had a significant impact on the Tucson community, influencing generation of artists and bringing recognition to the program through his success as an internationally acclaimed photographer. Whereas to honor Bernal's lasting legacy, several faculty, staff, and students at Pima Community College spent 8 years renaming the West Campus Art Gallery the Luis Carlos Bernal Gallery. The gallery was dedicated in 2001 and serves as a reminder of Bernal's life and work. Whereas during his lifetime, Luis Carlos Bernal was widely recognized through various high-profile commissions, grants, and fellowships, including Espejo, Reflections of the Mexican American, sponsored by the Mexican American Legal Defense and Educational Fund in 1977, the National Endowment for the Arts Fellowship in 1980, and selected to photograph the 1984 Summer Olympics in Los Angeles. His work can be found at the San Francisco Museum of Modern Art, Mexico City's Palacio de Bellas Artes, and the University of Arizona Center for Creative Photography, which also holds his archive. Whereas Luis Carlos Bernal Retrospectiva is the first major exhibition to chart the significant life and career of Luis Carlos Bernal, the father of Chicano fine art photography. This exhibition sheds light on Bernal's personal and artistic growth and the powerful resonance of his legacy. This vast survey of Bernal's work is also accompanied by Luis Carlos Bernal Monografía, a landmark survey of one of the most significant American photographers of the 20th century. Whereas October 12th, we celebrate the legacy of one of Southern Arizona's great contributors to fine art and education, the father of Chicano photography. And now, therefore, I, Regina Romero, Mayor of the City of Tucson, Arizona, do hereby proclaim October 12th, 2024, to be Luis Carlos Bernal Day in this community, and call upon residents of Tucson to pay tribute to the life and works of Luis Carlos Bernal through participation in exploring his artistic legacy. In witness whereof, I have hereunto set my hand and caused the seal of the city of Tucson, Arizona, to be affixed this 8th day of October 2024. Congratulations. Anyone want to say anything?
Hello, I'm Katrina Bernal. On behalf of my sister, Lisa Bernal, who couldn't be here today because she's also an artist and doing an art installment for the city of Phoenix. So I'm here with my daughter, Cassandra. And I just want to say, first of all, thank you to Center for Creative Photography for submitting my dad to be honored in this way. Thank you, Mayor Romero and council members, for agreeing to make this a proclamation. My dad would be truly honored. If you guys knew him, you would know that he was a very personal man in the community. People really liked him. He was a lot of fun. And he was also very thoughtful and respectful of the community, the Mexican American community, and wanted to make sure that, you know, their story was told as well as, you know, ours or the rest of us. And I think he did a really good job in doing that with his photography. And if you guys haven't seen this show, you should come see it because it is an amazingly beautiful show that's showing there at CCP right now. And yeah, I just know that he would be thrilled.
Yeah,
Did you
yeah.
have anything else?
No, I believe he would be very thrilled that it's not only going to it's not only going to affect past generations of everyone who knew him, but also these future generations of people who, you know, will now hear more about him and, you know, get to witness his incredible influence. So thank you guys so much.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Do we put this here?
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Thank you.
And last, but certainly absolutely not least, Arizona Serve Day for the elimination of poverty. And we do have some guests to join us. Roque Perez, the Executive Director for Pima College Access Network of the Metropolitan Education Commission. Carla Pinuelas, Youth Programming Team Leader at Arizona Serve. Lauren Delasha, State Team Leader, Arizona Serve. Alex Caraman, Mario Rogers, Danica Valenzuela, Mariana Martinez, Marta Saralegui, and Kathy Meyer. Alrighty, if you want to join me up here. Thank you. How are you? Okay. Alrighty, if you guys want to hold this. Excellent. So, on behalf of the City of the Tucson and the Office of the Mayor, I am honored to declare proclaiming October 17th, 2024 to be the Arizona Serve Day for the elimination of poverty. So, whereas poverty is a challenge affecting the prospects of many youth and families, and whereas economic mobility is critical to breaking the cycles of poverty and requires a holistic approach to areas of education, workforce development, and community support. Whereas Arizona Serve, a program of Prescott College, works to address the root causes of poverty by increasing the capacity of local organizations by deploying AmeriCorps members to serve in the areas in both Yavapai and Pima County. And whereas the peer coach program under the Pima College Access Network, a partnership between Arizona Serve and the Metro Education Commission, annually empowers high school students to support their peers in accessing higher education. And whereas over the last 5 years, peer coaches have collectively earned over $161,000 in education awards and served 31,000 hours in community service to the community, with 1,959 students in the Tucson metro area supported in their college readiness during the last academic year. And whereas the Pima College Access Network, supported by the City of Tucson, is committed to collaborating with Arizona Serve to advance educational access and workforce readiness. Now, therefore, I, Regina Romero, Mayor of the City of Tucson, Arizona, reinforce our value for collaborations to eliminate poverty and celebrate the work of AmeriCorps in uplifting our community by hereby proclaiming October 17th, 2024 to be Arizona Serve Day for the elimination of poverty, and encourage all of our residents to reflect on the importance of this day, support efforts to eliminate poverty, and engage in actions to promote economic prosperity for all. In witness whereof, I have hereunto set my hand and caused the seal of the City of Tucson, Arizona, to be affixed this 8th day of October, 2024. Thank you so much. Congratulations. Thank you for all the work you do. Does anyone want to say anything?
Pass it off to one of our peer coaches. Yeah. So again, it's because of Arizona Serve through our AmeriCorps program that we're able to take on the incredible challenge of supporting educators in a time where they're inundated with lots of issues from safety and well-being to academic success. But one of the most important ones being helping them in their educational journeys. And so we're super thankful for Arizona Serve and all that they've afforded us. But we're also incredibly thankful for the high school seniors that we have who are our peer coaches who are here and actually perform this work on our behalf. And so I want to turn it over real quick to one of our peer coaches to kind of share a little bit about that.
Hi, thank you, Mayor Regina Romero and council members for giving us this opportunity to have the proclamation today. And again, I currently attend Pueblo High School, and the only way students could move on from poverty or be able to succeed in life is through education. And so us having the opportunity to share with our peers of how to fill out a FAFSA form, how to apply to scholarships, how to apply to college. Like for example, at Pueblo High School with Martha, who is also one of the peer coaches, where we help with like U of A applications and stuff like that, and having the opportunity with AmeriCorps to go to like the FAFSA symposium at ASU and have that opportunity to experience that and share that with our peers. So it's an amazing experience and being able to share with our peers. So thank you very much.
Yeah, I can speak to what Arizona Serve is, and of course, you can't really say that without talking about what AmeriCorps is. AmeriCorps is a federal program that seeks to really fight poverty on the local level, and it does this by getting local volunteers to address local issues. Arizona Serve is a nonprofit here in Arizona that connects volunteers to those AmeriCorps programs. Our peer coaching program is just one of many ways that we address poverty here in the state, and even more in Pima County. So we are very happy to be here, and thank you very much.
Thank you. Good to see you.
That was wonderful. We move on to item, let's see, item 2D,
Appointments to boards, committees, and commissions.
City Manager's Communication number 290 dated October 8th is received into and made part of the record. May I have a motion to approve the appointments in the report?
So moved.
There's a motion and a second. Any further discussion on this motion? Hearing none, I would like to thank Haley Hughes for being willing to serve on the Environmental Services Advisory Committee. We appreciate your service to our city. Are there, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any against? Motion carries. Are there any personal appointments to be made at this time? Seeing none, we move on to item 3.
Mayor and council report summary of current events.
City Manager's Communication number 288 dated October 8th is received into and made part of the record. This time has been scheduled to allow members of the mayor and council to report on current events. These are to be current events of activities within the community, not position statements on policy issues. Does any council member have anything to report at this time?
I do, Madam Mayor.
Alrighty, let's start with our virtual colleagues. Councilmember Fimbres.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I'm honored to have received the Veteran Service Leadership Award from Congressman Juan Ciscomani yesterday. This award honors men and women who have served as foreign forces and who continue to serve leadership after the military. The ceremony took place yesterday, Monday, October 7th at Pima Community College, Northwest Campus. I want to thank Congressman Ciscomani for incredible work on this area. The ribbon-cutting ceremony for the Male and Edna Executive Center for Medical Health and Careers was held on Friday, October 4th. Thank you, Mayor, for being there. We're a great asset to the health school students in our community who are interested in careers in the healthcare field. For the graduation, I want to thank Governor Katie Hobbs, Congressman Juan Ciscomani, and of course our mayor for attending this wonderful event. Your support means everything to our community. I want to invite the members of the community to attend a celebration of honor, the 50th anniversary of the Tucson Fire Department Paramedic Program. Being held on Saturday, October 26th from 5 p.m. to 8 p.m. The Rollins Through Team Time Auto Museum. for 750 South Park Avenue. Please RSVP by calling 520-837-7095. Where Mercado, in partnership with the KC Club, will be hosting its annual event. It's been about 13 years since we started this one, Madam Mayor. To recognize the veterans in our community for their service to our country. It will be held on Sunday, November 17th from 2 p.m. to 5 p.m. at the KC Club, 601 South Tucson Boulevard. We ask them to please RSVP by October 15th by calling 791-4231. Ask for Mary Kuchar and Lupita Robles, who've been working with me on this for the last 15 years. I want to congratulate United Hearts of Arizona for their second annual breast conference awareness conference. It's a great conference event where many people have shared powerful stories and their experience and struggles with the horrible illness. Thank you, Madam Mayor. That's all I got.
Thank you, Councilmember. Councilmember Ulick, did you have any updates? Alrighty. And Councilman Lee, Vice Mayor?
Thank you, Mayor. Two items. This Saturday, October 12th, from 9 a.m. to noon, there's a cleanup at the Santa Cruz River, approximately where Grant Road crosses it, organized by the Snorn Institute, the Wilderness Society, and several other groups. Park at 2301 Forbes Boulevard. There'll be a DJ, food, prizes, and either discounted or free beer. I forget which. Congrats. Second item, congratulations to Salvation Army Tucson Amphi Corps. They're opening up a new splash pad and playground park at their facility at 218 East Pima Road. There's a ribbon cutting October 16th from 3 to 5 p.m. Thank you, Mayor.
Councilmember Santa Cruz.
Yes, thank you. So this coming Sunday, October 13th at 9 a.m., we typically have our BC and Burro ride that happens every second Sunday. But we will be having our third annual BC's Caravana to the ballot box ride, where we encourage people to bring their ballot, bring their bike, and ride over to drop off your early ballot while being in community. We'll be meeting at Menlo Park at 325 North Grande Avenue. Again, this coming Sunday at 9 a.m. And then Wednesday, October 16th at 3:30, Pueblo High School will be presenting their Fall Encuentro Warrior Block Party. This is a festive event that aims to unite diverse cultures through music, food, and celebration. And that'll be happening at 3500 South 12th Avenue. Saturday, October 19th at 9 a.m., Sunnyside Unified School District and the Sunnyside Neighborhood Association are presenting their Peace March and tree planting, beginning at Santa Clara Elementary School at 6910 South Santa Clara Avenue and ending at Mission Manor Elementary, which is at 600 West Santa Rosa Street. The Desert View High School Marching Band will be there to help lead the march. And then just as a reminder, our office has bike check the first and third Monday of every month. So the next one will be Monday, October 21st at 5 p.m. Fuga in the Ward 1 office will hold the bike check, which is a free minor bike repair program. And you can drop off your bike at 940 West Alameda Street. And then finally, I had the opportunity last week to attend the North Capital Forum in Ciudad Mexico. I was invited by the Mexican Consulate to attend. It was a 3-day event hosted by the U.S. Mexico Foundation that focused on understanding North America's main challenges and creating mutually beneficial solutions. There was more than 800 participants from Canada, the U.S., Mexico, and even Guatemala, talking about the North American way and this being a perspective of both individual and collective, while also taking a comprehensive approach towards innovation, efficiency, economic advancement, and social accountability. It was an outlook looking for collaboration, deeply rooted in cultural and familial connections, regional principles, shared history, and customs. One of the things that really stood out, obviously, Mexico just had their elections, and we are in the same process. And a lot of talks about migration and what were the root causes of migration, and that so much of our narrative around immigration, especially here in the US, is around fear tactics, not always on numbers. and that what we have at the border is really, we have a labor market crisis, not a border crisis. And so it was really helpful to be around so many smart people, kind of breaking it down and what is our role in our, you know, in our different positions, to have a more collaborative approach between governments, because at the end of the day, having all our countries represented in North America succeed benefits all of us. So I just wanted to share that. There's still a lot more to process from that, that conference, but I just wanted to make my colleagues aware. Thank you.
That's wonderful, Councilmember Santa Cruz. You have to share all the information that you gathered. It's always good to be able to bring new ideas, and then just facts to the table. And we had a conversation this afternoon during study session about elections and how safe and secure they are in our community and throughout Arizona. But election day is fast approaching, and it's important that every voter in this community be prepared and informed. Early voting begins tomorrow. Ballots start being mailed to voters in Arizona. And in the coming days, all registered voters on the active early voter list will receive their ballots by mail. The last day to request a ballot by mail is October 25th. Early ballots should be returned by October 29th, and election day is Tuesday, November 5th. For questions related to early ballots and voting locations, including polling sites on election day, please go to pima.vote. This year's ballot is 2 pages. That means it's 4 pages that we all have to fill out, largely because of 13 ballot propositions referred to voters by the state legislature, covering key issues like partisan primaries, abortion access, judicial reform, border security, and the minimum wage for tip workers. For detailed information on these propositions, I encourage you to review the 2024 general election publicity pamphlet, which was mailed to all households of registered voters. You can also find the pamphlet online at arizona.vote. And that is it for me. I don't know if anyone wants to include anything else, but we move on to item 4.
City Manager's Report Summary of Current Events.
City Manager's communication number 289 dated October 8th is received into and made part of the record. This time has been scheduled to allow the city manager to report on current events. Mr. Manager?
Thank you, Mayor, and good evening. 2 quick ones for tonight. One is I'd like to invite people to recognize Breast Cancer Awareness Month with Tucson Parks and Recreation. They'll be having the Step Together with Seniors and Families Walking for a Cure event. Will be on Thursday, October 24th, starting at 10 a.m. at Armory Park at 220 South 5th Avenue. Participants in the free event will enjoy a quick walk in the park and light refreshments while supplies last. And walkers are encouraged to wear pink to raise awareness for breast cancer. For more information, you can call 520-791-4865. And then the other is an invitation. There are 2 most popular days to visit our landfill, known as the Los Reales Sustainability Campus. Those are Halloween, which is today's invitation, and the other one is Valentine's Day. If you haven't done it on Valentine's Day, I recommend it. There's actually a tour on Valentine's Day. But this one is about the Spooktacular Sustainability Tour, which will be held on October 31st. Participants will be able to visit both the landfill and the sustainability campus itself, along with Republic Services has a materials recovery facility, so they can see how our recycling and waste management occurs in the city and how we're turning that into products and other benefits to keeping things out of the landfill. More information available on our website, but a chance to go and see the landfill and some behind the scenes tour. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you, Mr. Manager. We move on to item 5.
Liquor License Applications Report from City Manager.
City Manager's communication number 291 dated October 8th is received into and made part of the record. Ms. Clerk, please read the liquor license agenda.
Your Honor, on this evening's agenda, we have 4 requests for new licenses, 1 person location transfer, and 8 special event applications. All applications are in compliance with city requirements, so an appropriate motion would be to forward items 5B 1 through 5 and 5C 1 through 8 to the State Liquor Board with a recommendation of approval.
May I have a motion, please?
So moved.
Second.
There's a
Second.
motion and a second. Any further discussion on this motion? Seeing none, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
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 Any against? Motion carries. Alrighty, and we don't have any separate,
Correct.
okay. Item 6,
Call to the audience.
alrighty, Ms. Clerk, do you have any announcements on this item?
Yes, Your Honor, thank you. At this time, the public is allowed to address the mayor and council on any issue except for items scheduled for a public hearing at this meeting. Speakers are limited to 3-minute presentations. The green light on the lower dais will light up or turn on when you begin speaking. It will turn yellow when you have 30 seconds left of your allotted time. And when your 3 minutes are up, it will start beeping and the light will turn red. If that does happen, please immediately conclude your remarks. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Clark. Our first speaker is Paul Weir.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. Thank you for this opportunity to invite you to the 35th Annual All Souls Procession. From its humble beginnings in 1990 with about 40 artists and friends in Tucson through to today, 35 years later, the event has become synonymous with Tucson and the vibrant arts community that thrives in northern Sonora. Now serving upwards of 200,000 unduplicated participants in a massive, transparent, and public powerful ceremony of remembrance and compassion, as the event has become the entire weekend of events that is preceded by 8 weeks of organized free community workshops, events, concerts, performance, altar building, and art of all kinds. Many Mouths, One Stomach, the nonprofit organizing body, has gone to great lengths to preserve the community spirit of the event, relying on public grants, local small businesses, large and small private donations paired with the tenacity and determination to produce an event whose intentions and action transcend any financial exchange or monetary goals. The event at its deepest core is free to participate in. Many Mouths, One Stomach also creates funding for many individual artists and groups to further their art and engage the theme, share their creations, and further their craft and public production skills. It is, by simple means, art for art's sake in a very public and civic sphere. More importantly, the primary function of Many Mouths, One Stomach is to play the role of responsible party wherein all of the civic event costs, permits, insurance, waste, and the barricading, security, traffic, and a myriad of other administrative responsibilities become the tasks that are necessary to set the stage for this magnanimous public ceremony to occur. It is both intangible and visceral. It is sacred and profane. It is somber and celebratory. It is painful and loving. And your ticket to get in is your time. The event spends very little on marketing and has relied on the quality of programming and word of mouth to grow the event. With a budget between $150,000 and $250,000, depending on the year, we spend a small amount on advertising and promotion. The event raises about $30 million in economic impacts each year from a mere 6-figure spend of a group of dedicated and inspired artists, a testimony to the grassroots worth and the importance of uncommodified public and participatory art.
Thank you so much, Mr. Wyan. I love the poster that you have brought to us. Thank you so much for
Awesome, thank
sharing
you.
it. And All Souls Procession is a beautiful, culturally rich event that we all love in our community. And it seems like every year it grows and grows and grows and grows. So thank you for organizing this for our community. We really appreciate it.
You're welcome. And any other further support you can suggest or offer is always welcome.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Right, our next speaker is Bets Putnam Hidalgo.
This one or this one?
The taller one.
The taller one for short people. Good evening. I and a bunch of other people came before you en masse in around March of last year. At that time, you all decided that it was too divisive for you to make a statement against what at that time was an unfolding genocide. I'm just wondering if the death toll of 42,000 Palestinians, including 17,000 children, or Lancet's projected 186,000 dead after all the starved children and people under the rubble are pulled out, might have revived your humanity a little bit. I know Raytheon is one of our most important employers, so we as Tucson profit from this genocide, and that puts you in a bind between your city funders and your base. Your city funders build weapons of war, and your base doesn't support genocide. But I'm worried that your silence and that of every Democratic candidate equals complicity in a genocide in all of our names. And that silence and complicity is going to land us Donald J. Trump as president. Silence cannot continue from the Democratic side. There are two people who need to defend themselves, not just one at this point. 17,000 Arizona voters supported a ceasefire primary candidate. I'm sure you all know that Biden only won Arizona by 10,000 voters. So that's 17,000 people who are committed to not vote for Democrats if they don't hear something about this conflict, something about an arms embargo, something about a ceasefire. I can't believe nobody's listening to that. I urge you to do everything in your power, locally and nationally, to get this crucial swing state on the record as believing in international and domestic law and therefore supporting an arms embargo. Mayor, I believe your ex-campaign manager is currently the head of the Waltz-Harris campaign. If I'm wrong about that, I apologize, but that might be a good place to start. In addition, when Coach Waltz comes to town on Thursday, maybe somebody would like to tell him that it's about time to drop something into the ear of Arizona voters who would like to vote Democrat, but just don't feel like they can vote for a genocide. I know that's dicey. After all, anti-Semitic trope or not, AIPAC and Democratic Majority for Israel took Cori Bush and Jamal Bowman just like that for supporting Palestinians' right to live. And so when I ask you to do the same, I understand that I'm asking you for something big here. But in this land of free speech and democracy, I understand you have to watch your words. But someone has to stop the hopes and prayers and come out for an arms embargo now. That someone could and should be you. Thank you.
Moeddin Abdulaziz. Moeddin Abdulaziz.
Hi, thank you, Mayor and Council. My name is Muhyiddin Abdulaziz. I am a resident of Ward 6 for 45 years or more. Hi, Karen. The last time I spoke to you was about the topic that Bets just so eloquently spoke about. I just want to take the opportunity now to thank Council Member Santa Cruz for her courage and her moral clarity about this issue. And also, I'd like to remind the mayor about the statement that she promised she would issue about this. I am here to talk about Proposition 314. A couple of weeks ago, I on behalf of Stop the Hate Collective, sent you a letter about this issue. I hope you studied it and you're prepared to act on it. There are many problems with this proposition. One of them is it's really a racial profiling. As you know, somebody with a beautiful skin like mine, okay, is always looks suspicious. So that's just one of the minor problems with this border militarization is another one. And it's just a white nationalist agenda that aims to criminalize immigration and asylum seeking. You need to be brave enough to say these are human rights, these are guaranteed rights by international law and by our own laws. The Representative Ortiz described this, the consequences of this proposition as it will turn our state into a stop and frisk state. This is very dangerous to our community, very harmful to our state, and above all, it will be very costly and it's unconstitutional. One thing that we really need from you, not only to oppose it, but to provide us with the data, especially about the coast, okay, so that we can use it in the campaign. Unfortunately, it looks like it is going to win by 2/3 majority. So we need your help with that. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Sarah Roberts. Sarah Roberts.
Hello, good evening, and thank you for the opportunity to speak. I'm a volunteer with the Stop the Hate Collective, and also I'm on the steering committee of the Josefina Ahumada Worker Center. I would like to ask the City Council, all of the City Council members, to research and document the cost of enforcing Proposition 314, the Arizona State Legislature's Immigration and Law Enforcement Ballot Initiative, a racist initiative and an unfunded mandate. Immigration law is the mandate of the federal government, not the state, county, or local authorities. Prop 314 will lead to racial profiling, as we saw with Arizona SB 1070, and is causing real fear within the immigrant community already. This will lead to less reporting of crime. It will impact public health because families will not want to seek health care or vaccines for their children. There will be fewer workers available. Many longtime residents will flee Arizona, as happened with SB 1070. And there will surely be a boycott that will impact the Arizona economy, including Tucson and Pima County. I urge you to speak out against this racist proposition. Tucson is an immigrant welcoming community, and we need to keep it that way. We invite you to march with us against Proposition 314 this Friday, the 11th at 8 a.m., starting from 317 West 23rd Street, ending up at Presidio Plaza, and to come to a press conference October 15th to speak out against 314, following the Pima County Supervisors meeting on that date. And I also agree that we need an arms embargo now. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Sarah. Jared Reggie, I think it is. I can't read the last name. Jared, come on up.
Thank you, Mayor and Council. I wanted to talk to you about the Safe and Vibrant City proposal. I've had the opportunity to read through a number of documents, including the August 27th memorandum, the proposed example budget, documents from Phase 1 and Phase 2 from the Plan Tucson, and the city budget. And I have a comment and then a question about the measure. So the first is a comment on the proposed budget. So when I look at it, I've heard this from others as well. I don't have enough context for the why behind the line items on the broader budget, why they were chosen in their past budgets. So having an additional justification for them, I think, would be helpful in being able to determine whether I would vote yes or no, and having more underlying context for why these areas are important, and particularly the percentages on the line items. And then the mayor and council memorandum on August 27th, it has background info, but for each area, it's not enough detail for me behind the why, in my opinion. I think this is particularly important to get right because when I look at the example budget, I see some differences in how Tucsonians choose to prioritize services in the community budget differences in how Tucsonians choose to prioritize services from the community budget engagement survey and the $80 million proposed budget. So for example, in Q1, when people were asked to, in question 1, people were asked to prioritize the list. Number 2 on the list, number 1 was infrastructure. Number 2 on the list was affordable housing. And number 6 was first responders. But when I looked at the proposed budget, the priority looks flipped to me. I'm not saying I agree or disagree with that designation in the budget, but this is why I think the additional context, the justification, and the details are important. So that's my comment. And then regarding my question, I was wondering if, maybe 2 questions, if there's any mechanism, if we looked at any mechanism for generating additional revenue to make up for the corporate income tax besides a sales tax, and whether that's a vacancy tax or a property tax or some alternative. So that was one. And then the other one was, I've seen the word example proposal in a couple of places, and I wanted to understand if this is still considered an example proposal or if it's locked in with the vote in March. Thank you.
Jared, thank you so much for your thoughtful presentation. Thank you for including your phone number if it's possible to have someone call you
Sure, yeah.
to just be able to answer your questions and give you further context.
Okay.
Thank you so much. Ruben Vega.
Good afternoon, Mayor and members of the council. I'm very grateful to find out that we have this space right here where we can speak. My name is Ruben Vega. I am an activist of 12 years with the social movements in Mexico. The way I was able to introduce myself to the people of Mexico and the United States was I did a 5,500 kilometer walk with the company of a donkey. He did a great job drawing attention to us and getting us on TV, hauling our carts with the stuff that we needed to live on the road. I spent 2 years doing this, meeting different social movements leaders. We didn't make the impact I was looking for going from Tijuana to Mexico City, so we went from Culiacan to LA. In 2015, we had a crowd of people waiting for us here in Tucson. The reason I did this was to be able to draw attention to us and start looking for solutions as a society to the problems that we face. And some of these problems that are standing out pretty hard is the drug addictions and the unplanned pregnancies. And these are 2 subjects that I've came to find out that there's solutions for them. There's countries in this world who have actually gained some results, solutions. And I want to ask myself, why do our politicians don't know about these solutions? Because we are given the funding for them to be able to get on a plane, travel to that country, find out what they implemented, and why did it work? Because a lot of these solutions are in the opposite direction of what we call common sense. I want to register a nonprofit organization here to start working towards that as soon as possible. I also want to get related with politicians from this state. I'm a resident of Tucson and citizen of the United States. I am a veteran of foreign wars, Iraq and Afghanistan with the Marine Corps. And well, I'm here to help, and I also want to see how we can slowly start transitioning to solutions, because especially Tucson is a city that welcomes a lot of drug addictions from different states. They concentrate here. I've been speaking to them, and they don't like their situation. Drugs weren't invented to hurt people. Drugs were invented to help cure people. We may harm ourselves in the process, but there's something that takes us to consume them. And we need to get to the bottom of it so we can start working on real solutions instead of criminalizing our citizens that need help. That's it. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Vega. Isabel Garcia.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. It's wonderful to be here with friends, and wonderful that both of you came back from Mexico with fabulous experience as well as representing us and our realities. I too am here to talk about Proposition 314. No one really knows about Proposition 314, unfortunately. The polls indicate clearly that 139 is ahead and 314 is ahead. I've talked to people who are educated, that are in the know, that know nothing about 314. And for those that don't know, it is an attempt by the Arizona Republican legislators to criminalize immigrants through a state scheme. Now that's unconstitutional, but the courts don't see it exactly as we do. It's unconstitutional because this is wholly within the jurisdiction of the federal government. But in order to gain votes, the Republicans decided to put this in a proposition to blame migrants for every ill in this country. They also rebuffed any attempt by the Democrats to say, okay, if you want to criminalize the unlawful entrance, then you've got to have evidence of that entrance, witness. And they said no. So it's no geographical limitations in the entire state. So it's based on, what do you think? Color, the way we speak, and all of them. As all of you know, Joe Arpaio got into a lot of trouble in Phoenix. The litigation continues. So they didn't want litigation because there will be litigation if this passes because of racial profiling. So what do you think the Republicans did? They gave immunity, complete immunity to police officers when they are enforcing 314. The other thing that is really horrific is that they've tied fentanyl into this. Now, if all of you should know this, that 93 to 96% of all the fentanyl comes through the ports of entries, by US citizens by and large. Republicans know all of that, but the general public does not. In fact, they always believe the worst about immigrants. And so we're tying these issues that have nothing to do, migrants have nothing to do with fentanyl. Really resent J.D. Vance blaming our migrants for killing his people in the Appalachian when they should turn on Sackler and all of those opiate companies that made a killing. This will cost $325 million to enforce, and all the sheriffs have vowed not to enforce it. So we hope you join us at a march this Friday. The workers are starting a march at 8 a.m. at the Workers Center. We invite you to come. Thank you.
Thank you, Isabel. Javier Martinez.
Hi, good evening, everyone. My name is Javier Martinez. I'm a Ward 6 member, and I'm here on behalf of Anti-Liberation Mutual Aid. And I was planning to speak during the last meeting in response to the council's decision to shelve the discussion on the WASH ordinance, as I and the rest of our group and the greater community, including businesses and organizations, who are grateful to the council hearing our voices towards our call for community care. But the Tucson community has also been in the throes of change and how we want to envision an equitable and humane community that is currently not here yet. So we see the progressive movements for care and evidence-based solutions succeeding in other cities, and many of us are now imploring you to have them implemented here as well. The advocacy in Tucson will continue to grow despite the hesitancy from leadership in certain wards to recognize immediate care for housing and secure folks as essential or as real work. But we understand that this is merely due to just leadership, some members of leadership being ill-informed. So I'm here to present some solutions by way of reports that are indicative of their success, because we know that displacement is never a solution. We saw that at Alcotillo, 100 Acre Wood, currently at Santa Rita Park and Amphi Neighborhood Park, and also with the intent of the WASH ordinance. So if this is what it takes to publicly demonstrate to you that the solutions that work, then we also need to be a part of that discussion as well. So I do have reports that showcase the Alternative Response Program in Durham, Carolina, the designated encampment center that's succeeding in Las Vegas, the pit stop in Portland Loo model, and I'd also encourage a Loo Cafe model from India, which inspired an attempt for a proposal we at ALMA were not able to submit in time for ARPA funds, but made nonetheless to be considered. I'm also including the need for respite centers like Tucson's own Casa de Respiro, which currently needs your support. These are true solutions for the thousands of families, veterans, elderly folks that the city currently hasn't provided enough for, and whom we haven't heard enough public advocacy from some of you. We specifically advise Kevin Dahl and Paul Cunningham to pay close attention to these, since we recognize that they've either had concerns about immediate care for individuals seeking support, or are in need of a little bit more vision to the true work that this care can provide. That's all I have to say, but I'd like to leave these reports with y'all. Thank you.
Please leave them, hand them to the clerk's office staff member, please. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Martinez. Brad Holland.
Alcalde Disingala, members of the mayor and council and staff. My name is Brad Holland. I'm here representing the Garden District neighborhood. Some of you may remember it as Midtown neighborhood, and particularly the Ka Dang Community Garden, which is on the consent agenda. David was unable to be here tonight. I think he's watching. David, hello, wherever you are. He gets tired. I understand this. We are most grateful to the mayor and council who was able to purchase this property for decades. I have been the sponsor of the only green park in our quadrant of the Garden District neighborhood. And when I moved from Ward 6 to Ward 1, I gave serious thought as to how we might continue the good work of that community garden. Our council member at the time, Councilmember Kozaczyk, stepped up, was able to find the funds within your budget to purchase the land, and in coordination with Community Gardens of Tucson, will continue this community garden, as I say, the only green space in our quadrant. Again, thank you very much for your continued support of our neighborhood. When the parties start rolling, we will certainly invite you. There will be dedications. And in conclusion, I'd like to say that in our quadrant now, we have two very important landmark properties named after the two founding members of our neighborhood association. The Martha Cooper Library, and again, we appreciate the support of the county and the city, who makes this an incredible resource for us. And now the Ka Dang Community Garden. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Holland. And that was our last speaker card. Thank you all so much for coming out and participating in Call to the Audience. Really appreciate you all. Item 7.
Consent agenda items A through K.
Reports from the city manager on the consent agenda are received into and made part of the record. Ms. Clerk, you are requested to read the consent agenda.
Your Honor, on this evening's consent agenda, item A is approval of minutes. Item B is boards, committees, and commissions amending the Metropolitan Education Commission membership and governance structure. Item C is an intergovernmental agreement amendment with the Industrial Development Authority of Tucson for funding related to the Avanza revolving loan program and other small business assistance programs. Item D is an intergovernmental agreement with the Regional Transportation Authority of Pima County for the Valencia Road I-19 to Alvernon Road project. Item E is an intergovernmental agreement with the Regional Transportation Authority of Pima County for the Harrison Road new bridge over the Pantano Wash and drainage improvements. Item F is an intergovernmental agreement with Pima County for the incarceration of city prisoners for fiscal year 2025. Item G is a grant agreement with the U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development for acceptance of Choice Neighborhoods Planning Grant. Item H is Parks and Recreation, naming newly acquired park Kadang Park at 1933 North Bell Avenue. Item I is a resolution supporting the designation of the Santa Cruz River Urban National Wildlife Refuge by the United States Secretary of Interior. That item will be considered separately in order for Mr. Rankin to read changes into the record. Item J is a financial participation agreement with the Metropolitan Education Commission for fiscal year 2024-25. And item K is Housing and Community Development approving the impact fee subsidy request for Family Housing Resource Incorporated, Emery Park Place. So an appropriate motion at this time is to approve items A through H and K.
May I have a motion, please?
Metropolitan Education Commission for fiscal year
So moved.
2024-25. And K is Housing and Community
Alrighty,
Development
I'm hearing
approving the
some-
impact fee subsidy
some-
request for Family Housing
Okay.
Resource.
So
Incorporated,
there is a
Park
motion and I
Place.
heard a second from the vice
Motion
mayor.
at this time is to
Madam Mayor,
Yes, Councilmember Ulick.
excuse me for interrupting and thank you so much. I apologize. I'd like to pull item H for a brief comment if I could. I apologize.
I think you can make comments on item H. Yeah,
Okay.
go ahead.
Should I do? Is the motion moved and seconded?
There's a motion, the motion is moved and seconded, but right now
Great,
it's time
thank
for
you so much.
discussion, so you can absolutely add your comments.
Thank you so much. I just wanted to add my appreciation and celebration of the naming of the community garden for our really wonderful spirit, Ka Dang. And I became aware of Ka and his beautiful wife, Sharon, years ago when I worked at the Primavera Foundation, and we started to receive donations from them. And I was so appreciative and came to learn that actually Ka, Sharon, years ago when I worked at the Councilmember Fimbres, could you mute your, oh, there you go. Thank you.
It could be
Thank
someone.
you. Thank you. And so I'm just so appreciative of the opportunity to join in the celebration. Certainly want to thank Councilmember Kozaczek for paving the path for this with the Garden District neighborhood. And I've come to learn that Mr. Dang and I share mutual friends, Leslie Hunter, Brad Holland, Gabby Giffords, just people who I think likewise recognize what a beautiful spirit Ka is. And I'm not a big social media person, but I would highly recommend anybody on social media to visit the posts of Ka, because what he does every day is celebrate beauty, friendship, and community. And I couldn't think of a better tribute. So I'm very proud to move this forward with the Garden District neighborhood. And with that, we'll support the motion. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilmember Ulick. Any further discussion on this? Hearing none, I believe we need to go to roll call.
Ms. Santa Cruz,
Aye.
Vice Mayor Dahl,
Aye.
Mrs. Lee,
Aye.
Mr. Fimbres,
Aye.
Mixulic.
Aye.
Mayor Romero.
Aye. The items on the consent agenda are approved by a vote of 6-0. Thank you so much.
So, Your Honor, we have item I to
consider
separately.
Mhm.
Mayor, members of the council, in processing the item accidentally deleted paragraphs 2 through 4 of the resolution. So I'm going to read those into the record so they can be included in what you approve. So the paragraphs in question read, whereas the Santa Cruz River has roots in Spanish and Mexican history starting in the late 1600s. Geographic and architectural features include the Juan Bautista de Anza National Historic Trail, Mission Garden, Tumacacori National Historical Park, Raúl M. Grijalva Canoa Ranch, and San Javier del Bac Mission. And whereas water from the river has flowed through the region's acequias for the farming of crops for people's survival. Rancherias, community farms with animals, gardens, cattle, and horses dot the Santa Cruz River. In the barrios along the river, Rancheria families still use the channel to work their horses, which are central to a multi-generational culture and traditional way of life. And whereas the ecologically and culturally rich Santa Cruz River flows through the heart of a fast-growing metropolitan area of over 1 million people anchored by the city of Tucson. After generations of population growth, settler diversions, and groundwater overuse, the perennial surface flows vanished, with the river all but drying up except during heavy seasonal rains. There are few elders remaining who remember the river running perennially. And thank you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Rankin. Alrighty, with that, would you like to
Yeah,
add
I wanted to
anything?
just say thank you to the city attorney for helping us make that correction, and making sure that we're incorporating the voices of the community in the final resolution language. And I want to thank my colleague Vice Mayor Dahl for his partnership and dedication for this effort. It's been a example of collaborative governance between our offices, community organizations, and then just community members who have worked alongside as part of the coalition to draft this resolution. So with that, I move to approve resolution number 23828, including the corrections read by the city attorney in support of the Santa Cruz River Urban National Wildlife Refuge of Southern Arizona.
Second.
There's a
second that.
motion and a second. Any further discussion on this? Hearing none, do we have to go to roll call? We need to go to roll call.
Ms. Santa Cruz,
Aye.
Vice Mayor Dahl,
Aye.
Mrs. Lee,
Aye.
Mr. Fimbres,
Aye.
Ms. Zulik,
Aye.
Mayor Romero.
Aye. The item on consent agenda is approved by a vote of 6-0. Thank you so much for helping us with that, and thank you to Councilmember Santa Cruz and Vice Mayor Dahl for bringing this to us to take a position. Item 8,
Zoning TPENT 0624-013, Sonoran South Annexation District, Pima County Rural Homestead RH Zone to City of Tucson Rural Homestead RH Zone in Ward 5. Ordinance number 12128.
City Manager's communication number 286 dated October 8th is received into and made part of the record. This is a request to establish original city zoning for the Sonoran South Annexation District. The district consists of a parcel located south of Old Vale Connection Road and east of Swan Road. Original city zoning is required by Arizona Revised Statutes, Title 9-471.L, I believe it is, or I. And the Unified Development Code, Section 4.6, the Pima County Rural Homestead Zone would be translated to the City of Tucson Rural Homestead Zone. The city manager recommends approval of the ordinance. Is the applicant or representative of the applicant present?
Good evening, Honorable Mayor, members of council. Barbara Coffey, Director, Economic Initiatives, on behalf of this item.
Would you like to do a small presentation? Do you have anything to add for this item?
I can share, absolutely, Mayor. Members of council, this represents an 80-acre parcel recently annexed, and as you said, is here for its translational zoning. It is property of the Tucson Airport Authority, and it is an item where there were no protests in the recommendation by the zoning examiner is to move forward. And hopefully this will bring about future opportunities for us in terms of the airport's ability to bring quality jobs and economic development in the future. But right now, it is original zoning.
Director Coffey, do you know if the property owners or the applicants or representatives are agreeable to the proposed requirements? I usually have to ask that by law.
Yes, they are agreeable.
Okay. Any questions or comments on this item? Alrighty, so what is the council's pleasure on this item?
Madam Mayor, I move to pass and adopt the 12128.
Alrighty, so there's a motion to pass the original city zoning and adopt ordinance 12128. There is a second. Any further discussion on this item? All right, hearing none, we do need to go to roll call.
First, I'll read the ordinance by number and title only, if that's okay. Ordinance number 12128 relating to zoning, establishing original city zoning in the area located south of Oakville Road, Connection Road, and east of Swan Road in case TPENT 0624013, Sonoran South Annexation District, Pima County, RH to City of Tucson, RH. Mix Santa Cruz.
Aye.
Vice Mayor Dahl.
Aye.
Mrs. Lee.
Aye.
Mr. Fimbres.
Aye.
Mixulic.
Aye.
Mayor Romero.
Aye. Ordinance 12128 passes by a vote of 6-0. Item 9,
Adjournment.
council will stand adjourned. The next regularly scheduled meeting will be on Tuesday, October 22nd, 2024, at or after 5:30 p.m. Thank you all so much. Have a wonderful rest of your week.